The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea. It could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though I'm not really one to remember such things. Oh no! Greetings, my beautiful viewers! I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, last time, we got all the way up through the end of Ashton's section, where we saw Hannah at the top of the stairs with the ghost around her, Luke finally coming to his senses, the whole gang's together, and now we have to figure out what the fuck to do about the ghost, and then we flash back to Luke's story. So, Luke goes back from the time that, right after Hannah had her breakdown. So his story is definitely going to be more along the lines of, like, what happened behind the scenes in the mansion. Like, you know, since the party. So, I cannot wait to see what's going to go down, and I'm not quite sure what's going to go down. But, we're ready. We're committed. And, we're going to figure out, what to do for Hannah. I must have sat there in the kitchen, cradling Hannah in my arms for an eternity, until Shrocken and a maid ran in, assuming the worst. She had been screaming enough to attract the attention of anyone on mansion property. But that's all well and good in the end, I suppose, as they helped carry Hannah up to our bedroom. I doubt I could manage it on my own. I might have slipped on the stairs and cracked both our heads if I tried. Both Shroken and the maid does a short work of making her comfortable while I sit on the sidelines. I have no idea how long I remain there, just watching them and her. But at some point after they left us, the sun is set, leaving the room dark and silent. Nestled in all the pillows and blankets, and put on her side, though, Hannah looks smaller than ever. She looks so weak and vulnerable that I can't help but worry. Not to mention the children. Think about the children! I wouldn't know how much an event could affect babies in the womb. Now seems like a good time to get drunk as any, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to leave her side just to intoxicate myself. Not with what just happened. I might just drink myself to death if I so much as tried.
Please, stay with me, darling.
Of course. Anything for you, sunshine.
There's no way I can leave her side without feeling guilty. Besides, what sort of husband and father would I be if I didn't care about her when she's sick? Not that I'm too confident about what I can do on my own. I'm not trained for this sort of thing. Even if I've experienced similar scenarios before, I might still have it all wrong. I've already called our personal physician along with the obstetrician who knew of her pregnancy for a house call in the morning. We'll have to go on from there. I don't like to think about it, but I can still remember the doctor's instructions on how to take care of my mother while she was ill. Provide a safe space for her to rest. Check. Let her lie on her side so that she doesn't choke. Check. Loosen tight clothes to let her breathe. Check. Keep calm and don't panic. Well, I'm having a bit of trouble with that one, aren't I?
Do you want any water? Something to nibble on, perhaps? I can call for something to be brought up. Soup would be good, right?
I'm fine, Luke. Don't you worry. I'm just a little sick, but I'll get better.
A pained look crosses her face, and More than anything, I wish I could take away the pain she feels now. When she beckons me to come closer, to hold her in my arms, who am I to say no? Aww. Her body still quivers, tiny shakes that make my heart feel like it's going to stop and give every time they happen too much. I take care to give her room to breathe, no matter how much of an uncomfortable position it puts me in. Her scent is enough to bring me at ease. Golden flowers, marigolds, buttercups, and daffodils. I'm not sure if she smells this way because I surround us with them when I can, or because she's wearing the perfume I gave her last Christmas.
There we go. Now, are we comfy?
Oh. She nods her head weakly, a smile barely making its way on her lips. I'll be ready to fulfill any request she has, anything to make this easier for her, anything to make her happy. But when she next speaks, I can feel my breath catch in my throat.
Sing me a lullaby.
A lullaby? Of course. I can do that.
I know I've done so many times in my lifetime that would justify a horrible end. Okay, I know I've done so many things in my lifetime that would justify a horrible end. But not Hana. She doesn't deserve this. This is all far too horribly familiar. To find myself in bed, clutching reservedly to an ill-beloved, wishing it isn't real and hoping it doesn't get any worse. To find myself screaming at a god I've long abandoned and forgotten. Not her. Not again! Take her and you will bloody rue! To have a lullaby shared so that we can forget the pain and the fear.
Hush, my darling, don't say a word. I'm gonna catch you a mockingbird.
Oh, I can hear her breathy laugh, though she doesn't tell me to stop. If this amuses her, then that's fine. Oh my god, just... I find it interesting. Like, here's the thing, is like I said, like, Luke's grown on me. He's still a son of a bitch in so many ways. But the one thing I will give him, is that he loves Hana more than anything else in the world. And it's obvious that he will do anything, and I mean anything, just to keep her safe. And you know what? There's a lot of things wrong with a lot of people, but... And I mean, like, it may be true. Maybe he has murdered a bunch of people, and like he said, he's done a lot of things that he deserves to, you know, be punished for. But he doesn't... The thing is that then, when you do those things, they come back to haunt the people around you. Your family and friends. So... Sadly, I think Luke's figuring this out the hard way. But her breathing soon evens out. A good thing, too. Before I know it, she's fallen asleep. If it would be as easy for me, certainly I don't envy her. But I don't particularly like having how my mind runs right now. Battered and frayed, clutching at straws and asking myself if I'll really let myself fall apart in this moment. It's alarming how just the thought of losing her could break me, pregnant or not.
And if that mockingbird don't sing, I'm gonna get you a diamond ring.
I've already lost my mother, the only other woman I've truly loved in my life. Without knowing then as a young man, that wounded a great part of me. I am aware now of how scarred I am, for lack of a better term. And if anything happens to Hana, well, I don't know what I'd do after the fact. Would the loss drive me insane? Would I become mad and swear bloody vengeance on the world that deserves less than her? when I end up drowning in sorrow and guilt until I end up drinking one night and figuring a bullet is a good way to go out? Or, perish the thought, would I become like my father, one who had no further love for anything, not others, or even objects or self? The vainglorious mogul that worked and worked for the sake of succeeding in the search of happiness that would never come.
And if that diamond ring turns brass, we're gonna go to fields of grass.
For a long while, I was that man, wasn't I? Pursuing gold and glory and nothing else. Bloody hell, I even started hoarding Hana for the money her family had. She was a mark to be obtained. But she was just so bright. And I don't mean intelligent, though she certainly is that too. No, she was bright in a manner that she could bring such sunshine to anyone's dreary life. I thought I would need to put on a mask with her, just like with all the others. But if anything else, she made it feel so constricting, suffocating that I pulled off the mask on my own. I had to. I had wanted to be myself around her, just as she was so willfully showing her real self to those around her. It wasn't some sudden realization. There was no eureka moment. It just happened.
And in those fields where we roam, we'll take daffodils for our home.
We would meet up and talk about business, but then those could only last for so long after a few dozen dates. We ended up talking about other things, little things that didn't seem to matter so much, inconsequential things that one would end up forgetting in the grand scheme of things. Good food, good music, dogs, the film we just saw, the books we've read while we were apart, and places we want to go. Things that weren't important suddenly are. It confused me so much, but I was happy. And at some point I told myself that this was the woman I wanted to spend my life with. Then I would forget that a lot. It was out of some misguided need to be my own person, to not be defined by anyone else. I refused to put her on a pedestal or make her the center of my universe. Married or not, we were our own person at the end of the day. But I would forget too, at the very least, remember that she was there with me.
And if those daffodils die and wilt, we'll still have the home that we built.
She made me better, but I was. She made me better than I was. Am. Still me to an extent. Still the son of a bitch has something to prove. I forget it again and again, no matter how hard I try. I'll spend extra hours at the office for something or another, to have favorable stocks, to take care of a debt, something. Sometimes I'll even bring work home if I haven't gone to drink and destroy my liver. I'll flaunt the riches, some of which aren't even rightfully mine in the first place, and lord myself over everyone because I fucking deserve it. Because that is how I prove myself. When I don't even have to prove myself to Hana. Sometimes I wonder, had we met under different circumstances, had I grown up in a different way, would all of this be any better? Would we be any happier?
Good night, my sunshine.
Now there's a thought. After what seemed to be a seizure, Johann found the couple in the kitchen and helped usher the weak woman to the master's bedroom. Luke elected to stay with Hana today to take care for her, singing a lullaby until sleep came over both of them. Now there's a thought. Mummy, what happened? You were wiggling and shaking. You wouldn't stop, even if I was shouting. I'm so sorry I shouted at you, Mummy.
Shh, don't cry. My little ball of sunshine's not supposed to cry, is he? Don't you worry. Mummy is just a little sick, but she'll get better. I've got a new job now, and I can get medicine again, okay? And we'll buy some bread pudding, too, while we're at it.
Please don't do that again, Mummy. It's scary.
It's okay. I'm here. You've got nothing to fear. But you have to be brave, too, Lucille. Even when I'm not around.
See, this part I'm actually not upset with them not having a voice for Luke here, because it's a younger Luke. I mean, like, I'm guessing that by this point in the game, because literally it wasn't until we got to Rebecca's section, which, when was Rebecca? Yeah, all through Marianne's, but then parts of Rebecca, Ashton, and Luke now have some vocal lines missing. Either that or they just didn't have time to record them, or they got corrupted. You never know what can happen. Or maybe they ran out of money. You never know. It's one of the only things I can dock the game for. In my opinion, this game is still a solid 8.5 out of 10. I haven't finished it yet. When I finish it, I may bump it up. It just depends on what happens near the end, so.
Be brave.
I choke back a scream and wake up in cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. Oh, in the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy when I'm bloody freezing. Noticing the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hug the sheets, Hannah.
She always did this, though it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hannah exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping throughout the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate. After all, the poor dear is ill, though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Oh, fuck! There's no sign that they'll be moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish of me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. He's smart, I like him. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I had to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the muzzle of a gun, it's going to be a murder tonight. I know they say not to bring a knife to a gunfight, but I think I can sink a blade into his liver faster than he can point and aim. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though it can easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I hear their breathing. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get Hannah and myself out of here, not look back and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. Maybe I should just man up. There's no way I'm risking the chance that inaction will put Hannah in danger. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no boogeyman under the bed. Ha! No monsters in the closet! If anything, these things should be afraid of me. I don't know about that, but it's not how that works. At least he's prepared. I gotta say that, like, yeah, Luke's a son of a bitch, but he's like that character that, like, you know he's a son of a bitch, but he's an interesting character. Similar to Byakuya Togami from Danganronpa 1. Right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Oh god. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Must be my imagination. I'd rather not think I'm going mad. Luke woke in the middle of the night with a scream, and in cold sweat. Finding comfort in the warm body next to his, he tried to get back to sleep, and forget the images plaguing his mind until Hannah called out from the loo. It could very well be the stress getting to me, all this drama with Hannah. I've been doing well all these years, all things considered. I guess I do have a breaking point. But still, the world goes on even if I cannot. I must go along with it. I suppose a day off or two wouldn't hurt. Rest, aside from a few hours of sleep, will be welcome. More than. But I can't shake off the unease. I dare to say I feel afraid. Irrationally so. That something will come creeping and crawling from under the bed, even as I lay back down and close my eyes. The odd dreams don't linger, thankfully. But with the morning comes another disturbance. Both too loud and too sharp for my senses. I have very fine tastes. When the piercing ring of the bell reaches even the bedroom, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has chased away any of the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already this is going to be another long day. It hasn't even started. Will the racket even last another minute? I'm peeling myself off the bed and heading straight for the main door. There will be a murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. It seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting on my nerves as of late.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. That's why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour in the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is the news Hannah has brought forth yesterday, and the very idea of being a father. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chills spreading across every room in the place. My wife is pregnant. Bloody bollocks. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So I wait another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. And maybe it should be appropriately there, considering the person on the other side died in the hour he dared appear on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger. And before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hannah will disapprove. Scold me for treating the man with such disrespect, if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him, after all. Treats him like a friend she's known for years. But she's not here, is she? And what she doesn't know...
You! Again! It's bloody 6 in the morning! What the hell is it now?
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hannah's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens that it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental, just screaming like that. Suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds? Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Strokin will take care of it, if need be. It's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, the bigger problem at hand. It's on a whim that I've chosen to cook. Sure, I have a lot of other things I could have done instead, but cooking distracts me, and I do find it relaxing on the rare occasion I step up to the task. Oh my god, that looks fantastic! On the tray, 2 plates of roti paired with spicy beans, boiled eggs, hash brown, and bacon, topped off with peppers, courgettes, and akis. I don't know half of that food. I can't even get back to sleep after my abrupt awakening earlier. Although I did think about drinking to get some 40 winks, I changed my mind to the reminder that my very pregnant wife is sick in bed. I love my alcohol, no doubt, but there are times when even I shouldn't drink. As it is, I'm running on nothing but 2 cups of coffee. The surprise on Hana's face is apparent the moment I step into our bedroom holding up a breakfast tray. But it quickly changes to a look of delight as I place the tray on the bed.
Good morning. What's all this then? Oh, that does smell good.
I made breakfast. In hindsight, I probably should have prepared something a lot healthier for you.
Oh, don't you fuss. This is absolutely perfect. A little grease isn't going to kill me.
No, the creepy lady who lives in your house will.
Feels like forever since I last had your cooking.
I don't see what you're so enthusiastic for. I'm no master chef. I won't be too mad if you tell Johans to cook something else for you. That just means more for me, of course.
I can't wipe the grin off my face when Hana takes a bite and looks like she's enjoying what I've made. It would be a lie to say I'm not glad or proud that I can make her happy. Though perhaps I haven't been able to do that as of late. But Hana needs me right now, and that counts for something, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't think I can finish this all. But I shouldn't I? After all, I am eating for 3.
I feel a terrible pit in my stomach at the reminder. I try to fill said pit with food anyway. But bloody hell, I don't think I'm ready to raise a child, let alone 2 of them. There's nothing else that can be done other than steel myself for fatherhood.
Speaking of you 3, what did Dr. Hobbs say? How are you and the babies?
The physician took some of my blood. I'll go through some other tests tomorrow to make sure we're fine. I know how you hate hospitals, so I asked Johans to drive me there. That way you can have some alone time with Kylie too.
Admit it, you just want to leave me alone with a little tyke without any backup.
Don't be like that. You'll do fine, I'm sure. And she'll love spending the day with her fairy godfather.
Of course, I can just look at it like it's practice. I do want to be a good father, right? Not like my own, though I don't think any practice in being a parent would have helped him. He hadn't cared about the son he sired until he learned that he was ill and was not long for this world. And even when he did find me, he still cared little. I definitely do not want to be like Damien Wright. Oh, choices. Choices. How is my relationship with Hana? Really good. I think if I say I'm worried about the children, she'll be happier.
I'm just worried about the children, Hana. I know you can take care of yourself just fine.
Oh, good.
You're one tough cookie.
Oh, that's adorable. This is wonderful.
Look at you, already becoming a great father. One day, when the kids are all grown up, I'll tell them the story of how their dad is being a great big worrywart. Just leave being pregnant to me, all right?
My hand moves to Hana's stomach, which has yet to grow too much beyond its usual size. There is some pudge, hidden well behind her dress. I'm half expecting to feel something, perhaps a kick. They always talk about how the sensation cements everything, proof of life that goes beyond a growing belly. But of course, it's too early for that.
Still can't believe it, you know. I didn't think it would ever happen. We're going to have kids.
A shame. I certainly need grounding. It would help me get my head around what's going on.
How are you feeling about all of this?
I don't know how I feel, actually. Worry is the first thing to come to mind, and I don't think I'll ever stop feeling that. That's what brought this on, isn't it? And it would be awful of me to say that I'm not happy at the news, excited even. But that all did not stop me from feeling the same I had from when Hana first told me about this. I was so afraid. Still am. I never gave thought into being a father until now. But I'm already afraid for them, their safety and the world they find themselves born into. I'm afraid for them because of me, the bastard who will be their father. The only consolation that comes to mind is the fact that they'll have someone like Hana as their mother. Like I told Miss Pink, I never wanted to spawn anything. Though I truly did not mean to call a child, even an unborn one, an abomination. Of all the people in this room, I'm the closest thing to being a monster after all.
I'm all right. You're good, so I don't see why I shouldn't be. I'm not the one carrying a pair of brats around in my belly, am I? Just think about it. 2 tiny humans are inside of you and you're going to swell up like a watermelon. If you can get through this, so can I.
I'm afraid. But the smile that Hana gives me is enough to believe that everything will be fine. We eat the rest of our meal in companionable silence, and if I shovel some food off my plate onto Hana, she makes no comment on it.
Come on then, Sunshine. Eat up. Can't have any of you starving on my watch now, can I?
I say it in a joking manner, but I am entirely nervous about making sure they don't starve in every sense of the word. I know it is an impossibility to be lacking when it comes to food, with how well off we are. But there are no others a person can be starved of. There are other things a person can be starved of, damn. Affection. Attention. I can probably think of a third word that starts with the letter A, but I digress. Soon enough, our plates are clear and I put them away. There is no objection to it either, as a quiet yawn escapes her lips and her eyes start to droop. Indeed, the urge to sleep is high after having a full meal and with an inviting bed. But sleep isn't what I want or need right now. I'm quiet as I can be when I make my exit, tray of food in one hand, which I'm quick to pass off to Johan as soon as I see him.
Johans, look after her. I just need to get out.
Stretch my legs, clear my mind, think. I don't think having screaming, crying babies will give me much time for that once Hana gives birth.
Is everything all right? Should I be worried?
Everything is good. Really. Best I've ever felt in quite some time, I think.
Well, I think that's cause for concern. Shall I expect to find a corpse in need of cleanup?
I can only shake my head and grin, the deadpan delivery both amusing me and making me wonder if he's joking or not. He can easily be half and half. There's been an instance or two where that did happen. But I don't give him an answer, just let him keep guessing, and step out for a breath of fresh air. Gray skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. Oh, I forgot I was going to look at the journal entry. Come Sunday morning, Luke continues caring for his sick wife, going as far as preparing breakfast for her, putting a smile on Hana. Even more when he admitted worrying about their children's well-being. When sleep had taken her once again, he simply left her to rest. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These are the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me. And for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days. And I want to forget about them, even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date, as good as any, for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh and how it consumed her body until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there watching with the operator and a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, is a name written in the ledger of Luxbourne Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Eleanor. Oh. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and to rub my finger over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I became anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me. Alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet, and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but though I loved her so much, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless toward people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocketed the lighter before I could feel the urge to catch something actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked. Just enough to make a bouquet of things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe. You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. I've been thinking of both my dear parents far too often, as of late, when I shouldn't. I have a future to look forward to, and a present to take care of. Those memories of the past give me nothing but grief. The life of Lucille Mitchell Chandler should be nothing but a footnote in Luke's Wright non-existent autobiography. It's because of Hannah, isn't it? I wonder if she is all too much like the mother that... I can't read that right. I worry that she is all too much like Mother that it scares me, and the thought that I'm turning into my father even more so. But even if history is so set to repeat itself, I am not a child anymore. Content to sit aside, unable to do anything to help, and too experienced to think that the worst wouldn't happen. I have money to buy the best medicines and doctors if need be. She'll get better. She has to. And once we get over this little bump in the road, I can stop worrying. All will be right with the world. Unfortunately, my time alone is cut short, though.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea. It could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though I'm not really one to remember such things. Oh no! Oh no! That's her! That's the ghost lady! Before she got all fucked up! You know what I'm guessing? This is a guess. This is my guess. Now seeing this, you know what I think it is? I think that this ghost lady, whoever she is, we saw the article where the lady of the house, Charlotte, put her to death, right? I think that she was a slave that Charlotte freed, and she and her husband fell in love. Either that or she fell in love with the husband and then was found out whether or not the husband reciprocated her feelings, and he murdered her. Well, not he, the wife, Charlotte, had her, like proven as a witch and murdered. And that caused a grudge, which caused the curse, which has set everything in motion. At least that's what I think. Going with her attire, would say that she's one of the housekeepers. Strange, considering I sent all the staff, I sent all of the staff but Johann's away. And her face, as pretty as it is unfamiliar to me. I would lie if I said it didn't set me on edge. Most would say that I cared little for my employees. That isn't entirely untrue. However, I'd like to think I know people who work for me, especially those who would roam my home, even if it is just a face and a name. Besides, I would remember a beauty such as her. So who is this? If she is someone impersonating a household staff to get in, she's doing a bad job of it.
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
I expect poor excuses and apologies the likes of her often give, but she merely smiles.
Oh, no. I've been a servant here since you first came.
And I see no signs of lying, nor hear it in her words, yet they can't be true. But I find that I feel like I can relax. She has the sort of smile that makes one's kindness shine through without words or action. He reaches her eyes, fills them with a strange sort of mirth, as if she's just thought of something very funny. Perhaps, had it been another person, I would have interpreted it as a deceitful grin. But the curl of her lips and the shine of her eyes are too soft to hold any malice. She takes my silence as a sign that she can continue, and it's not like I feel any urgency to stop her. I'm not really in the mood for company, but I'm not adverse to it at the moment either. Entertaining a beauty like her, even for a little while, wouldn't hurt. It helps that she proves easy to listen to, despite how oddly she speaks.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you. Look at me, talking to the master of the house without even asking for permission. What will the others think? If you'll excuse me, I'll just...
I haven't driven you away yet, have I? And it's your day off. I don't see why we can't chat a bit.
Of course. If that is what you wish. As long as it does not get you into trouble with the lady. To even take time for someone as lowly as me. No wonder that everyone under the mansion's employ is so fond of you. Though it should have no longer been a surprise to me. You have always been such a kind and loving lord.
I have to stop myself from calling her out on her shite. It's almost as if she's talking about an entirely different man. She is! Like, Luke looks similar to the person she was in love with, so yeah, it makes sense. I think this is her attempt to win him over. To maybe free herself from the curse. Because here's the thing. Sometimes once spirits have the thing that they want, they stop cursing people. But you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, man. It's weird seeing her not all creepy and trying to kill me. To see her like a normal person. And to hear that she has such admiration for Charlotte's husband. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Not that itself is terrifying, but just like that it's what caused her death and caused this whole situation. If I'm right, anyway. No matter how big my ego gets, I know for a fact I'm hardly in the running for Best Boss of the Year award. The only reason that most of my staff stay is because of the decent compensation. I'm not cheap. But if she wants to lay it on thick, I'll allow it. Who wouldn't want a beautiful woman complimenting them?
I'm sure she'll be fine with this. We are just talking after all. Unless you had other things on your mind when you approached me.
The words leave my mouth before I even realize what I've said. I panic a bit. Though I can get away with picking up women out in the city, sometimes even out of the country, I've always taken care not to do so in my home or in my business. Not when it'll be so easy for Hana to find out about my infidelity through these channels. Though seriously, I still don't see what the big deal about it is. I just have an itch I need to scratch. Which, here's the thing. I have some close friends that are polyamorous. You know, they, my friend's spouse has a significant other, and it's not like what you're thinking. It's not like, oh, they're like, they don't love each other. No, it's like, they're okay with going on dates and seeing other people. It's just that they're, you know, they're practical about it. They don't like, their marriage comes first. Their marriage and their family comes first. But they don't have problem with, like, looking at other people and, like, you know, being like, oh, wow, that person's attractive and everything, without the spouse being like, well, oh, you have me! How could you dare look at someone else? Because humans are human. Even if we find someone that we truly love from the bottom of our hearts, that doesn't mean that there won't be another person that you could also care for and, like, have a relationship with. Now, I'm not polyamorous myself, but I understand why people could become that way. As long as it's not just like, oh, I want to have sex with as many people as I want, which is not the case with people who are truly polyamorous. And I think that Luke is probably polyamorous, but his wife definitely is not, which is what causes the rift here. Is that he loves Hana more than anything else in the world. He will never do anything to, like, hurt her intentionally. But he has fucked up by sleeping with other women. And maybe even getting that other lady pregnant. So, yeah, damn.
I know it must be amusing to see a girl flustered for a man of your stature. But please don't say such things, my lord. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
Thankfully, I do count my lucky stars. It seems the woman takes it as a joke rather than the casual pass it was intended to be.
So how are you liking your work around the mansion? The place is wonderful, but I imagine the upkeep is ungodly with all the rooms and whatnot. I don't even want to think about how many people are on the staff roster.
Work is work, my lord. It is a way of living. A purpose from day to day. It is certainly far better than doing nothing or having no food to eat. The house itself is also beautiful. There's no lack of things to look at. I'm sure you've seen those books in the study. I can't read any of them yet, but if given the chance, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be thinking of those things, especially when the rains, they might bring more work to us soon. It will definitely be much more difficult when it returns. Idling about is the least I should be doing.
I guess you can put it that way if you want to be brutally honest about the whole thing. And the rain shouldn't be a problem, hopefully. Maybe.
If a little dreary, at least she doesn't beat around the bush. I like the honesty. Many would bemoan their status as a household staff, as a janitor or menial role, and believe themselves to be for greater things. And I would not begrudge the idea that one can always get better. But no one should be so discontent with what they have, either.
The rain is something I simply must get accustomed to, if I am to live here. I've not spent long in this place after all, but I have been told that it has rained in this nation since a mother's time, and their mother's time. There is little we can do about it. I am just glad to have time in the sun, even for a short while.
Isn't that the truth? Really, these sunny days have been welcome, though I can't imagine they'll last for long. Sometimes I just want to pack my things and leave for somewhere like, say, the Bahamas or whatnot. Get some sun and surf.
But certainly, you will return for us, won't you? This is your home, after all. Your people. They won't be pleased if the master of the house leaves.
Of course, I can't very well leave my businesses hanging here, can I? I just wish I could actually trust people enough to go on vacation without taking work with me. I've also got to get back here if I ever want proper meals. A proper pudding is something you'll never find out there.
The woman nods in understanding. I must say that she makes for a fine listening ear. Though what she says next gives me pause, whether she meant for me to hear it or not.
And good tea. From what the cook has been telling me, I've yet learned how to prepare one. Perhaps once I do, it would endear the lady of the house to me. I never expected her to be so unkind after what she did for me.
Oh, so Charlotte was a bitch! Oh! You know what I'm guessing? I'm guessing that Charlotte probably freed her as like a publicity stunt or something, to be like, look how good I am, I free my slaves, but then still treats her like a slave even though she isn't. I don't know. This is showing where the grudge came from, where all of this started, and I love this.
Though it's only if one catches her in a foul mood. I wish I knew how to avoid her anger.
I highly doubt she means Hana. The woman rarely has a mean bone in her body. When she actually is nasty towards someone, it's usually deserving, though. Much like with that Rochelle woman. Hell, she even tolerates Harvey for me, even if she didn't admit that she doesn't quite like the man. She must mean the head housemaid, right? I have to laugh at that. Not that I have room to speak. I don't deal with her myself anymore, though even Johans has a few choice words about the head hag. She's just been under the right employ when she was also head housemaid for my father. And if anyone's not going to get along with someone, it'd be that crotchety old woman. I don't even remember her name. But the woman has been this strict, upstart bitch who took one look at me, her master's bastard son, and turned her nose up, as if she were better by mere consequence of birth. That and she absolutely loathed my very existence. Perhaps the rumors had been true. She had a miscarriage while bearing another one of my dearest father's children. She saw me as an obstacle to her being granted a better standing in life. I remember that much, at least. The only reason I haven't sacked her yet is because of her competence. Also, working under my household makes her absolutely miserable, her resignation made impossible by her pride.
Nobody really gets along with that woman. I think everyone just tolerates her because of how old she is. I mean, not to be rude or awful or anything, but she's at the age where she'll be pushing daisies soon enough.
Is she? Really, my lord? I'm sure the lady is much younger than that.
I think the thought of tormenting the young and beautiful gives her reason to live.
It does seem that way. Though I feel sorry for her. One's life should not be wasted away on hatred and anger.
Oh god.
It is never good for the heart or the head to always carry ill thoughts.
This lady was such a pure cinnamon roll! She was such a pure cinnamon roll that was turned into a big ball of hate, and I don't like it! God, I'm feeling bad for the ghost! I feel bad for the ghost! Why do I feel bad for the ghost? I should not! I should not! I should not! Oh, hi, Luke.
But at the least, you are here for us. We are certainly so lucky to have a lord like you. The lady even more so. The gods smile down on her. Though, if I may be honest, she is to be envied.
Even when I have my suspicions about her, she's just so easy to talk to that I've forgotten. I don't know who she is, and if she's actually one of the household staff, that would explain why she would so easily give obviously wrong statements about my character. Though, if she is here for malicious reasons, wouldn't she have done more so than small talk with me by now? Wouldn't she? I have so many questions. Perhaps curiosity will kill this cat.
It's strange that I've never seen you before. What's your name?
You do not remember?
I don't believe you've mentioned it, or am I missing something?
You still cannot comprehend it. Can you, my lord?
Her answer chips away at the good mood I'm starting to get into. I have every right to be angry at the cryptic response. She threatens insubordination with her very presence alone. But instead of hurling vitriol at the woman, I take a deep breath. I do not want my mood ruined further than it already is. Not right now, when I can let my temper take its course another time.
Whatever your name is, and no matter how long you've been working for us, that does not change the fact that you shouldn't be here. I'll call you a cab to bring you to the city if you want.
Shouldn't I? What if I do not wish to leave?
There it is!
I merely desire to stay by your side and serve. Is that such a deplorable thing?
Her gaze sends chills down my spine. It's too easy to see the devotion, the obsession in her eyes. Not the good sort either, as her scrutiny makes me feel like I'm laid bare. The offness of her presence is all the more palpable with the presence of bugs crawling on my skin, and the silence makes it seem as if the world has stopped. Any friendly atmosphere we might have had going for us is completely forgotten. Danger. A small part in the back of my mind screams, the part that has kept me alive all these years. And in hindsight, I'd be stupid not to take heed of it. I've grown arrogant, complacent, and content to hide behind wealth and power.
Yes, it's a deplorable thing, as you said, because I'd like to be alone now. Thank you very much. If you didn't want the day off, you should have reported to your superior. This is utterly unprofessional of you, and I shall be issuing complaints. In fact, if you know it's good for you, you should start looking for another employer.
Oh, no! It is at my threat that the smile on her face turns tight.
I see. It escapes you still. This is unfortunate. How despairing that this misery must go on. But maybe, if you come with me, I can help you. I can...
When she suddenly reaches for me, I recoil with a hiss.
How dare you lay your filthy hands on me without my permission? I am not going anywhere with you. Now step back and walk away before I have you forcibly removed.
There it is! As if a switch has been flipped, the woman's expression turns horrific. Although that may very well be the understatement of the century. She herself turns horrific. Her presence is suffocating, bearing down on me. I'm rooted on the spot, though through no fault of my own, as my fear paralyzes.
You are too much like that vile woman, poisoned by her rotten influence and her filthy words. But that can be remedied now that you're here. Oh, how we have waited to welcome you home. Come, my lord. The house beckons.
When her fingers grasp the back of my coat, I finally find it in me to break off into a run. I can still feel her eyes on me as I run back to the house. But I refuse to acknowledge it, let alone look back. All I need to do is get away from her and make sure she stays away. Wanting some time alone and fresh air, Luke excused himself, lingering in the gardens as he remembered the mention of his late mother. Suddenly, a beautiful woman appeared by his side, striking up a conversation with him. It was all pleasantries at first, until... If it means acting like a coward and seeking out company to keep me safe, nobody can tell me to do otherwise. Bravery isn't something to be lauded if it comes along with stupidity. It must have been a sight to see the usually composed and reserved Luke Wright bursting through the doors. Not that I have much of an audience, unless there are other staff members who've chosen to disregard my orders for them to leave. Really, I doubt that woman is one of the staff. Mustering up the courage, I look back through the windows to see if she followed me. She's gone. But I don't take any chances, putting as much distance as I can between us. Stopping to catch my breath, Johan's sudden appearance nearly makes me jump out of my skin.
Don't fucking do that, you son of a bitch! If I had a gun, I would have shot you!
If I had any love left for my Mutter, I'd take offense. But what happened to you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
He did! Ha! Ha ha ha! Oh, bad. Oh, if only it were such a delusion! Oh, God, no! That's even... No, that's worse! Trust me. God. I'd much rather deal with the living than, like dead people. But I can still feel her sharp nails digging into my back. The feeling was too real for it to have been a ghost.
There was his housekeeper. I think, I'm not sure. In the gardens. She was acting odd, and I thought to remove myself from the scene.
Oh, I get to do my German voice because there's no voice here. Strange. I made sure the rest of the staff had left and the house was empty, as you requested. Describes this woman.
She had pale skin, dark eyes, and long dark hair. She wouldn't give me her name.
I half expect a name from him. The man knows the staff better than I do, after all. But instead of an answer, he grows quiet. I'm pretty sure this is not a good thing. I'm even more worried when the man looks over me. I have to protest when he pulls back my collar.
What in the bloody hell are you doing?
Checking for marks. Needle marks, to be exact. We don't have anyone like that among the staff. You could have easily been kidnapped.
A cold feeling settles itself over me at the thought. I've long established my power over the mere unsavory characters in Luxborn. Or I thought I did. And the most harm I thought that could come to me would be slander, robbery, or incarceration. Kidnapping? An attempt on my own person? I've forgotten that I'm human. As mortal as any other man despite my wealth and status.
Fortunately, you look unharmed. But I advise that you be accompanied by trusted individuals at all times from now on. If not me, an assigned guard. I'll be informing them of this soon as they return from their day in the city.
I can already feel the energy leave me at the realization of what could have been.
All right. Yes, I suppose we should do that. But I think I'd like to call it a day. I should be safe in bed, yes?
I'll stand guard outside for the night. The madam has been inquiring about you, by the way.
A guard. Any other threat, and he alone would be enough to make me feel safe. But what I saw, whatever it is I saw, would one man be enough?
That's all well and good. But there's something else. That housekeeper. She.
Luke, you're home. I was worried about you.
The grin that I can muster is probably lopsided. Forced as I snap my mouth shut to keep myself babbling about witches and monsters. Because here I am standing in the hallway, dirt on my pant legs and sweat dotting my forehead. A far cry from my usual pristine condition. I don't want to worry Hana. A cough.
What happened to you? You look like you wrestled in the mud and moss, dear. And those flowers. Were you gardening?
What? Oh, these. I didn't realize I still had them.
I really did not. But there they are, still in my grip, the daffodils I had taken from the garden. Even in the wake of my flight, I had refused to let go of them, whether I was conscious of it or not.
Shall I put them in a vase?
Throw them away or give them to Hana. I want to give them to my lovely wife. Because I fucking love her. Perhaps I did it to save face, or maybe a small part of me really had planned to make them for her. But, like a young man presenting flowers to a Valentine's, I awkwardly thrust the bouquet in Hana's direction.
They're for you.
These are lovely, thank you. But aren't these?
The surprise is to be expected. And the open-ended question needs little interpretation. I've never given her daffodils before, especially from the ones that I considered mine.
They're for you. Don't make me think that kneeling around in the dirt was a waste of my time.
It's not. It's not, just... Are you feeling alright? I hope whatever I have isn't contagious.
Yeah.
I'm not sick, Hana. I just got them for you. I thought they'd make you feel better, brighten up the room. I don't need my intentions questioned. The thank you was enough.
And I didn't mean to insinuate anything. But you are right. Thank you, truly, for these.
She takes them from me, careful not to crush the stems. There is still uncertainty on her face, which endears and annoys me in equal parts. But she does look lovely with them. The very picture of her, something that should be immortalized in paint. They should be for Mother. But it doesn't matter anymore.
Why don't we turn in for the night? You must be exhausted with all that gardening.
What does a dead woman care for flowers? Now it's Monday. Oh my god. I'm starting to think one of two things. Either Luke's chapter is gonna finish out the game completely, like, and then like the epilogue will be what happened to everyone afterwards, or there's gonna be like an epilogue chapter or an extra chapter. I don't know what's gonna be in like whatever extra chapter there is. I want to look at the branching tree so bad, but I don't want to be spoiled for anything. Damn it. Why? Really, little sleep was had and I feel completely drained come morning. Even when Hana rises from bed in spite of a mild fever and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered to drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. Sound like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return, as it should, feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in the rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for all the sunny days it has given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within a quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take that as an immediate sign. Luxborn abysmal weather is back, likely for good. I hope they did a damn good job of fixing this place because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. Though Hana did find humor in it and perhaps asked me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't feel like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. Hana technically, paid millions for this. It better live up to the price the realty company sold it for. Not that it's something she should be fretting about at the moment, when her health's not at its best. Hana is going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focus on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can't be good for unborn children after all. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysitting duty at that. But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter for Suarez Brat once her father drops her off at the mansion steps. Though it is a worry for her, much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But as always, someone has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
What do you want? It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered. Truly, not even the slightest bit worried?
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. The whole thing might have rattled me, but there is little point in jumping at every shadow I see in the corner of my eye. I shouldn't lose my head for a threat that might not even come. I should know better by now. But I've never been this worried about a possible threat on my life before. I'll be honest here. If anyone is in danger, it's Hana. I can take care of myself just fine. With security tightened, I have at least one guard, if not 5, making sure nobody gets within 10 feet from me without my say-so. Hana, on the other hand, is pregnant and will be away most of the day. It is a small relief that Johann will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's still not done with the house, and she's a nice enough woman. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck, I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Certainly someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept without fail on people who come to work with me. Background checks and constant surveillance until they finish their contracts with the Wrights. Some would say that it's a little bit over the top. But I can't be too safe. Too many want me dead.
What about one of ours? Has anyone seen her? She's pretty hard to miss with how tall the woman is.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party, your housewarming party.
That isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
It's a little important that I can easily prove my innocence. It's all a matter of principle. Because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation, although maybe it is a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Besides, it'll be such a hassle to have the police poking around the house looking for a body that doesn't exist.
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Well, there goes any plans for grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over on my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course, of course.
There it is.
Johans, distract her.
Oh, look, it's time for me to go. Have fun with your little play date. So long, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
No, Johans, don't you turn away from me. Keep her busy for an hour. Come on!
I have to press my face against my pillow once more to suppress a groan. You just can't get loyal help anymore.
Hello there, little Fraulein. Your uncle is just upstairs and will be down in a moment. He is super excited to have you today. I hope you're well rested and ready to play a
Oh my god, that dick bag!
Bastard. I'll be down in a sec, Munchkin. Let me just...
Change into a fresh shirt, brush my teeth, fix my hair, bemoan my very existence. Wish I was anywhere else in the world right now. Don't get me wrong, Kylie is a great kid. Wonderful. Better than most brats her age. But handling a tyke is the last thing I want on my agenda right now with this whole Hana business. Fortunately, I am well versed in how the world works. I've long learned that the show must go on no matter what hurdles come in the way. So I set to preparing for the day. Running a comb through my hair is just divine and simply makes me feel more human. Bed hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad now as it is when I was a child. With how expensive a trip to the barber's was, I often had to grow it out until a mother had the time to cut it for me. The curls and tangles were simply horrid. Why was I even mistaken as a little girl because of that? It certainly doesn't help that I was named Lucille. A freshly pressed shirt is enough to chase away the last signs of sleepiness. The feeling of a crisp, clean cloth in my hands is a clear marker to the start of the day. Smoothing down my suit and my hair with a sigh, I steel myself for the horrors. The horrors that come with taking care of a child.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Good morning to you, little Kylie. And guess what? I think that's just about gonna have to do it for this episode. Cause yeah, we are definitely at time. Oh boy, that was interesting. I still think that she's adorable, but like this character model has like a bit of the uncanny. Like here's the thing, the game has like 3 modes. Like the little like portraits down here of the person who is speaking when you are the person. Those look great. And like the anime style like pictures they have, but like this is like the uncanny valley kind of weirdness. It's not bad, it's just like I said, it's like uncanny valley, so it's a little awkward. But either way, thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Next time, we have a play date with Kylie. Oh joy! And that's gonna be so much fun for Luke. We're gonna skip past most of it. Not like actually skip past it, but I mean like, you know, it's not gonna show every single thing he's gonna do, thank God. And I'm willing to bet that something with the creepy maid lady, you know, like the ghost, is gonna show up again. But I have no idea how or when that's gonna happen, so we're gonna have to wait for the next time to find that out. So, thanks again! And until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers!